Deshaun Watson returns. Hey, Stephen A. Smith, how do you think Deshaun handled his press conference this week?
Stupidly. I would have walked up to that press conference from day one, Wednesday, when the quarterback said, you know what I would have said, guys? I'm here. Let's go. Don't ask after today. Because the suspension is over. The legal matters for the most part, I don't know if there's one more case, but the legal matters for the most part are over.
Here's the thing right now is people either want a complete admission or they want an outright and angry denial. And Deshaun doesn't do that. Deshaun does milquetoast. And that's largely how it's been, even when he's maintained his innocence. As far as an admission, this is where the lingering accusations against Deshaun, especially the at least one outstanding lawsuit against him, really give him a viable reason to not expound upon the legal parts of it. Adam Schefter this morning reported that sources said Deshaun is making progress in his treatments, saying it's just sort of ongoing as needed, and it'll be ongoing until it's not needed anymore. And I think it's given him a lot of help and support, but this could take a while. Which begs the question, okay, progress with what? And if he's making progress, but still has a ways to go, like, okay, is this guy a menace to society? But back to Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark.
I think what's flawed in the way you see it is that you think when they ask one question, they're going to stop. Or to think that there's anything that Deshaun Watson can say that will ever change the perceptions that have already been formed by everyone in that room. To this day, I can't speak on a quarterback without having someone on Twitter or some fan ask me about playing with Ben Roethlisberger when he had these sort of allegations.
I agree with Ryan on this one. I think another good example was Ray Lewis in Baltimore. Ray Lewis just flat out wouldn't answer questions about it. I also enjoyed Ryan Clark bringing up Ben Roethlisberger out of nowhere, as he was making the point that people always bring up Ben Roethlisberger out of nowhere. Roethlisberger's got to appreciate that. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for adding my name to the mix, even though I really haven't heard it that much involved in all of this. A lot of people have talked about what the environment's going to be like in the stadium. I thought Dan Orlovsky brought up a good point that I hadn't really thought about in terms of how it might affect Deshaun's teammate.
Usually when you're an opposing team and you go into a road stadium, a lot of fans say a lot of crazy stuff to you and about you, but it's not going to be as personal as some of this stuff could be potentially this weekend. And I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how Deshaun handles that.
Yeah.
And I think if I was a teammate, just wanted to be honest in the moment, I would be watching it too. I'd be watching to see, because I'm going to hear it, and it's not going to be you stink as a quarterback, you know? And so it'll be interesting to see how his teammates respond to how he handles some of the things that he's going to hear.
You know, compartmentalization is a word that's used a lot in these circumstances, and it's fair. I think Deshaun's teammates are probably going to circle the wagons around him, and they'll hear a lot of the taunts, they'll hear the insults. You know, they'll frankly get tired of the insults, because you hear so much of that, it starts to feel like you're the one being insulted. So it is but it's something that's new today, and I am curious to see exactly how the Browns respond to it.
Remember, he's not hurt. So he didn't miss any time. He's still, over the last year and a half or so, even when he was going through all of what he was going through in the entire year that he set out leading up until he was traded to Cleveland, where he got to participate in mini camps and all that sort of stuff, he was doing football acclimated things. The speed of the game is the only thing that he has to get used to again.
I think this is a really good point by Keyshawn Johnson, because people do talk about him like he was rehabbing an injury or something. Nope. This was just Deshaun's own behavior that got him in this situation. But because of that, he has been able to train. And I think it's a matter of timing, and it's all those other things. I keep hearing people say it's like riding a bike. The problem with that analogy is that there are different degrees and levels of expertise in riding a bike. When Lance Armstrong came back, he didn't just jump on the bike and get to Tour de France levels for his comeback. He trained, he took a lot of drugs, and then eventually he got there. Likewise with Deshaun, I don't think it's as simple as, hey, it's like riding a bike or you just knock the rust off. There will be a timing component. The difference is that today the Browns have a very good rushing attack going against a very poor rushing defense in the Houston Texans, and I don't think they're going to have to require expertise bicycle riding by Deshaun to get a victory. I think they're going to be able to spoon feed it to him somewhat slowly.